Okay, my idea is that I will go through the slides. It's not that much. You can type any questions you have during the presentation in this question box on the right side next to the slides. And then afterwards, I will go through the questions and we can have some discussion about what I presented and market, station trading in general. So, basic of station trading, it's on the first slide, buy low, sell high. This is all you need to know. But how to do this? Maybe first have a quick look at what the market in EVE is. Unless in other games, the market in EVE is almost completely player driven. You will only have a few items that are not sold by players or bought by players. For example, skill books are seeded by NPCs, but everything else, almost everything else, is traded by players only. Also, quite unique to EVE is that you can trade almost everything. By now, you can even trade your skill points and such. So we really have a great market economy in EVE. If we talk about the market in EVE, it's not really one big market, but you have, I think, about 50 markets. Each region in EVE has its own market, and if you look at the market window in one region, you only see buy orders and sell orders for this region. So this market is open for everybody, even markets in stations you don't have access to, or citadels by now you don't have access to. You can still buy on the market. You can't access what you bought, maybe, and you can also sell on those markets. So one interesting thing is that the market is broker based. That means if somebody buys an item from the market, he always buys the lowest priced item in the station or citadel he buys from. Even if he clicks on a different sell order, it will always fulfill the lowest price item. Same for buy orders. It will always fulfill the highest buy order. Also interesting to note that whatever price or the buyer or seller types in, if it's higher than, for example, the buy order you placed and the price you requested, you will get the price he types in. And this, for example, is sometimes interesting at what price people buy things. So, for example, on Reddit, you see sometimes screenshots with somebody overpaying by 10 times the price, things like that. So that's the basic of the EVE market. As I said, there are about 50 markets, each for each region one. But if you look into station trading, you want to be in the most busiest markets. And on this slide, I put up the 5 biggest trade hubs. I guess everybody knows about JITA. It's by far the biggest trade hubs. You see from the monthly economy report, October, it was 370 trillion ISK in revenue in JITA alone. Amar, also a nice market, good volume. To Dixie, Rance, Heck, you see it is more and more, less and less revenue on those markets. So if you want to make good profit, you probably want to be in JITA or Amar. But the downside on those markets is they are the busiest market and everybody is there trading. So your orders will continuously be undercut or overbid on your buy orders. And also with all those activities, the margin is usually much less compared to the less busy trade hubs. So for example, in Rand or the Dixie, it's much more relaxing. You need to update your orders much less than in the main trade hubs. So what does station trading mean? In this presentation, station trading means you buy the item in the station and sell it in the station, in the same station. If you are buying in one region market hub and sell it in a different region market hub, this is what would usually be called interregional trading. Can also be quite profitable, but this is not the topic of this presentation. As I said, in the main station, in the main trading hubs, there's high volume of trading, but usually the profit is not that high. But if you, for example, have trade an item that costs about 600 million, something like skill injectors, you make about 10 to 15 million profit per skill injector. So it doesn't sound that much in percentage to the price, it's not that much. But if you trade 100 of them, you got your first billion in profit. And if you look in the main trade hubs, you see that a lot of those are bought and sold. So to get your profit through station trading, you want to trade high volume. To be able to trade high volume, it's always helpful to have ISK. If you have more ISK available, you can set up higher number of buy orders. If the price for certain items you are selling goes down, you can sit it out and wait until the price comes back to something more reasonable for you. And also what happened, for example, this week when the skill injector prices went down by a lot. If you had the ISK, you could buy up a lot of them and now sell them for quite a nice profit. But keep in mind, there's always a bigger fish. So for example, in JITA, you see buy orders of many billions quite often. Also keep in mind that you can lose money. For example, if the price crashes, you will lose money. Or what happens to me almost every week, fat fingers, you type in the wrong price and sell for half what you want to sell. So look twice before you place a sell order, especially if it's a larger sell order. So highest buy order gets the items, lowest sell order sells. This means you always want to be in front of the queue. Means especially in the main trade hubs, you will have to update your orders every now and then. So what skills does a station trading tool need? First, you want to have trade, retail, wholesale, and even Tycoon trained, so you have a lot of trade slots. You can place a lot of buy and sell orders. Then you want to have accounting and broker relations trained, so your sales tax is reduced and also the NPC broker fees are reduced. For the NPC broker fees, also social might help to increase your standing. but the focus would be on broker relations. To be able to place a lot of buy orders, you want to have margin traded to 5. This means if you have a trade to 5, that only 25% of the value of your buy orders needs to be placed in escrow. So basically you can place buy orders for 4 times the money you have. Then to be able to do the so-called offshoring, which I will explain later, you will need day trading train to 2, procurement and visibility train to 2, and also marketing train to 2. If you want to train wholesale and tycoon, you need to train marketing up to 4. On the right side, I put a recommendation for a skill set that I would say is good to start station trading. One more thing, if you're doing this offshoring, it might also be helpful to be able to fly, for example, blockade runner to transport high value items from a station or from a citadel to a station, or a freighter for high volume items. But usually you won't leave the station because you will just sell where you bought the item. Okay, now have a look at brokers' fees and sales tax. So in NPC stations like Jita and Amar, you have a minimum of 2% of the sales or buy value for the broker's fee. 2% is a minimum. If you don't have any skills trained and no standing, then the NPC broker's fee will be at 3%. With skills trained and some good standing, usually you will have between 2.1 and 2.3% of broker's fees at the NPC stations. This broker's fee you have to pay for each buy and sell order, and it's a percentage of the value of your buy or sell order you place. Interestingly, at the citadels, users, the owners, can set it to whatever value they want. They can set it even to 0%. And this is the basic for the so-called offshoring. So we can save 2.5% of cost just by placing our buy orders at the citadel. When we sell items, also the sales tax is applied. It's fixed at 1%, and at least I don't know any way to avoid it. So you will always have to pay 1% of your sell order value when it's sold. So on the right side, you see a screenshot, and with the red frame, you see what the broker's fee is. So some recommendations about the market window. I usually sort it to have the lowest sell order first in the seller's window and the highest buy orders first in the buyer's window. So I easily see who is in front of the queue, which order will be fulfilled next. Also helpful for station trading, if you are trading a lot of items, is to use a quick bar. You can add items just by drag and drop them to the quick bar and use folders to sort them whatever you want. And for example, when you want to quickly check your orders, if they are in front of the queue, you can just click an item in the quick bar and then use the arrow keys to navigate and it will update the detailed window for this item. You can quickly check if you are in front or need to update your orders. So also I would recommend to set a filter. You see in the screenshot on the right side how to set a filter. My recommendation is to set it so jumps to 0, so you only see when the filter is applied all the buy or sell orders within the same solar system, usually within the hub you are trading. And also tick the checkbox mark my orders. When you do this, then your orders are highlighted with blue in the background. When using this so-called offshoring, I usually set for buy orders, I activate this filter, but for sell orders, I activate it. And for buy orders, I deactivate it because the buy orders will be placed one hop in another solar system. So I already mentioned offshoring and the basic idea. So in NPC stations, your broker's fee can't be below 2%. But in the citadels, it can be set to whatever the owner wants. And quite often you see citadels around Jita or Amar where the broker's fee is set to 0% or to 0.1%. So you can save 2% with each order, which adds up. To be able to use it, you need procurement and visibility, so you don't need to fly to the citadel every time you want to update or place an order. You can just do it remotely from your main trading stations. And most of the time, if people sell items, they sell it in the main trading hub. They sell it in the Jita station or in an Amar station. Even though your buy order is in a citadel, one hop away, you will have the item in the hub you wanted to sell. Especially for high volume items like plex and skill ejectors, you basically need to do this offshoring to be able to compete. So on this slide, I did a quick calculation with plex as an example and a broker's fee of 2.3%. And you see on the left side, without using this offshoring, on a first glance, you see a nice 76 million ISK in profit. But if you then apply the broker's fees for the buy order, for the sell order, and also the sales tax, you will end up at a loss. On the right side, if you use this offshoring trick and have placed your buy order at one of those 0% citadels, you will see that suddenly you make about 25 million ISK per trade in profit in this example. So then keeping in mind that station trading is mainly about volume, saving 2% doesn't sound that much, but it adds up, and in the end, it's the profit for you. So how to find those low tax citadels? You can use the structure browser, and there you set the range to region. Currently in HiSec, you only have 40 ZARs with market hubs. Haven't seen any Keepstar there yet, so structure type can be set to 40 ZAR. You're only interested in 40 ZARs with market, so you also set that filter. And then you sort it by jump range. The citadels you are interested in, where you want to place your buy orders are the ones that are one jump away from your main hub, and those that have the lowest tax. On the screenshot, you see that at that time there were 2 Fortisars in perimeter that had 0% tax. If you do this, be cautious. The tax can be changed at any time by the owners. And I also had some Fortisar owners sending me mails or chatting me and telling me that my tax would never be changed above 0%, just to see it that the next day it was set to 0.5% or something like that. So it's a good thing to check for every order you place that it's really the tax you expect. Okay, so next, how to place a remote buy order. So you're sitting in Jita and, for example, want to buy Enius. First thing is you click on place buy order in the market window. Then this dialog opens, where in the first line you have the location where to place the buy order. By default, it's set to the location where you are in. So if you are sitting in Jita, it's the Jita station. But you want to place it at one of these Fortisars. So you click on it, then click on select station. And then this small select station dialog opens. It's actually a search dialog, so you just type in the first few letters of the region. All citadels by now have the solar system name in the name. So if you're looking for Fortisars in perimeter, you just type perimeter, click OK, and then it will open another dialog with all the stations and citadels there. Then you just select the one you found before. And after that, you will see that in your buy order window, the location has changed. Also, pay attention, the bid price is by default set to the lowest sell price. So you need to update it to the price you actually want to buy at. Adjust the quantity. Duration, I usually set it to 3 months. So even if I forget to update things, my buy orders won't run out. And most importantly, you have to set it to the range to 1 jump. If you don't do it and keep it at the default, which is station, then only people who sell in the Fortisar will fulfill your buy orders. But what you actually want is that you will also catch sellers in the Jita station or Amar station. So you have to set it to the range to 1 jump. If you tick the remember settings checkbox on the lower left corner of this dialog, then it will save the duration you set and the range as a default for the next orders you place. Quantity, location, and bid price will be set to default for every new order. So this was how to set remote buy orders, to do this offshoring, to do some tax evasion. Another thing you can do if you're sitting in the trading hub and see that, for example, for one item, somebody is selling at 10–15% below all the other sales orders, you can do what's called relisting. You just buy this very low sell order and put it up again just below the remaining sell orders. Doing it in such a case where only somebody wants to sell quickly or a failed sell order got stuck is not that risky, but usually not high profitable. Another more risky approach is to buy up all the items and then play them at a much higher price. For this, first you need to have the ISK to buy everything up. And also, usually you need a good timing, so you just do it before people start to buy this item and not have, for example, manufacturers place new sell orders at the old price again. One thing about relisting, you're free to do it on all the public trade hubs, but please don't do it in Horde stations, and also don't do it at markets of our blues. So now you know how to place buy orders remotely. Next question is what to buy, what to sell. So I don't think there's a best item to trade. It changes over time. Two things that are always good to trade: high volume and usually reasonable margin. If you use this offshoring trick, is plex and skill injectors, but of course you need the ISK to do this. So skill injectors sell for something like 580 to 600 right now. And plex is still above $1 billion. So to be able to trade volume, you either need to have enough ISK to buy many of those, place large buy orders, or you need to be very active, and once your buy order was fulfilled, immediately place it as a sell order, and do this again and again and grind some extra cash to do it in a more relaxed way the next weekends. Also, good things to buy are things that drop from rating sites. Usually those are sold when, for example, buyback program people go to Jita and just sell the stuff they picked up at the nullsec region. They sell it just at the buy order prices because they want the money quickly, and you can pick up those items and sell it at reasonable profit. What at least surprised me was that what is also working well are ship hulls, especially faction ships or Tech 2, Tech 3 ships. I guess even for Tech 1 ships it works. It's probably because there are still people out there who are mining and calculate the way I mined this all myself, so it's free, so I can sell at every price and make a profit. So thanks to those people, even Tech 1 hulls are reasonable to use for station trading. In general, I would recommend to check the volumes. So even if you see something with high margin, it may not be so desirable to trade it because the volume is very low and you will be sitting on those items for weeks. And also, what I mentioned before, this relisting can make items look very profitable. If you look at it and somebody relisted it just before you, you think, oh, great, high profit. But if you look at the history, it's not a high profit item, it's just a peak. So it makes sense to check the market history. before you start to trade these items. I usually watch an item for 1 or 2 weekends to see how it behaves. Maybe have 1 or 2 smaller orders. And if I have the feeling, okay, this is an item that works well, then I go in with larger buy orders. Another thing is when to trade. You can trade all day long, but I think that's not that much fun. It makes more sense to target for the time slots where most people are active in the trade hubs. So from what I've seen, the markets have a daily cycle. So you see most activity just at the beginning of the usual time zones, prime times, EU, US, prime time. And also you have a weekly cycle, meaning during the week there's much less activity than on the weekends. So it makes sense to focus, if you don't want to spend too much time on updating orders, to focus on those times. I think if you watch the market a bit, you will get a feeling what is a good time to update your orders to have the most revenue with the least time spent on the station. Okay, I think there's no real secrets about station trading or tricks, hidden tricks. It's just, grinding, updating orders. One thing that is quite helpful is to have multiple orders per item. This is helpful because each order can only update it every 5 minutes. And for example, if you have a higher volume item, you will have some other station traders also trying to get their buy orders fulfilled or their sell orders, and they will very frequently update your orders. To be able to keep at the front of the queue, you just split the stack of items you have into 3 or 4 orders, and during prime time, then you just update one after another. Every time you see somebody else is in front of you, you just update another of your orders. Another reason why this is helpful is that you can place one of your items at the front of the queue and keep the remaining orders at lower buy order prices or higher sell order prices. So if there's a surge and, for example, somebody who is seeding some nullsec up is buying up a lot of items, you will sell your items at a higher price. Or if somebody is dumping a lot of items, you will buy at a lower price than as if you would have all your buy orders at the highest or lowest price. So if you see somebody is undercutting you by larger amounts, you can try to pull him down, meaning you just undercut him again and again and again, and maybe this guy goes so low with the price that you say, okay, I will just buy it and relist it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes, they will, after 3 or 4 updates, stop it or just go back to the original price. Also can work with some of the bots you may encounter. If you want to play the market a bit, you can also try to raise or lower prices. If you want buy order prices to go up, usually you will place large buy orders. So everybody else who wants also to buy this item has to overbid your buy order and then slowly pull up the price. Same you can do with sell orders. For example, if you have somebody always placing sell orders at a price lower than what you want to sell at, you can just kill the pricing for this item for some time. You just place large sell order so low that for station trading there is almost no profit. Just make sure that you don't lose ISK and see that after a few days all those low sell orders will be most likely gone, and you can then reset the pricing to what you want to have. If you want to keep prices stable, you usually wouldn't use large orders, neither buy nor sell orders, but many lower orders. And you don't update your orders by larger amount. You basically do this 0.01 ISK game, so the price is not moving by a lot. As mentioned before, if you see somebody undercutting you a lot of time and you have a larger quantity of an item, you can kill the price for some time. And what I don't recommend is to try those stupid tricks with numbers. So at least in my opinion, the font for the numbers is not the best. You can easily, for example, read an 8 for a 6, and there are still people who try to trick you by updating their orders this way. This doesn't work, especially if you have multiple orders for the same item. They may fool you for one update, and so you just do it correctly with the next order you have placed. So, and last slide, some useful links. So I don't use any special tool for station trading. I just use JETH Asset to see if my total net value goes up, moves into the right direction. What is interesting also for station traders are the monthly economic reports. So you get an idea what the volume is at the different regional markets. And also there's always a slide about the ISK velocity, which if this goes up, that means that more items are traded. And that is what we as station traders like. Since the market, historic market data graphs with the ETH client is currently not very usable, you can use the market data browser, for example, at Fuzzworks, which is, I think, quite nice to see trends, historic data, and get an idea how an item behaves in general, especially in the past, and see if it's worth to look closer into it or not. I know there are also some specialized tools for trading. As I said, I didn't use any of them, so I can't comment on them. If you like to code your own tools, program something yourself, at the developers ETH Online site, you will find some information about the Crest API and also this XML API. And also ETH Central provides a nice API that also, besides raw data, provides some pre-calculated averages and things like that. So if you ever feel you want to code your own tool, then you probably want to look at those two sites to get started. And that's it about the slides. So I don't see any questions typed in, so maybe if you have any questions, then just ask them via Mumble. Was everything clear, what I presented?
Yeah, I understood it all.
That's great. And no questions at all?
Well, I've got a quick question. When you were talking about ISK to start, what's a basic minimum you start with? A couple billion, 5 billion, 10 billion? What are we looking at here?
I would say you could start with $1 billion easily. You wouldn't trade things like skill injectors or Plex with that money, but for example, T2 frigates you could trade already with that, but don't expect to make those billions per week in profit you hear from other station traders. I can say that I think I have currently about 250 billion ISK working on the market. But I also started with much, much less, and then trade after trade, it was more. And if your income is higher than your spending, you have more ISK to use for station trading. I think if you have something like 5 billion or 5 to 10 billion, you could also do some Plex trading on the weekend, which is usually high volume, and you can make a few $100 million in profit during 1 or 2 hours of trading. Any more questions? I see Travis is already starting to ping for the next op. Or comments?
But you said a good starting amount would be 1 billion. Is it possible to start with lower?
Sure, it's possible. If you have less, I think the main question is what items you can trade. I wouldn't look for, phrase it different. I would look for items where you can buy at least 10 to 20 million, 10 to 20 items off, and that has high enough volume so you don't get stuck and run out of ISK too quickly. One thing that is really bad is if you run out of ISK and then, for example, somebody dumps a large number of items you are trading at a too low price for you on the market, then you are stuck or you are forced to sell even at a loss. So if you have less, then look for items that have a decent volume and you can buy at least 10 to 20 off without running out of ISK.